Hello, everybody. Welcome to this SlowWolf vlog with yours truly. Who else, I guess? Yeah, I'm back from Tanzania. I'm out of the woods as far as my degree is concerned, and I am available to, and I have the time to actually do YouTube stuff again, which is good. I'm excited. I have had a crazy couple of months. Starting in like March, I really buckled down. I tried really hard to get stuff done. April was another practicum. I had to really try hard there too. 2 weeks ago, last Friday or so, I left for Tanzania. So for those who don't know what that is on the east coast of Africa. I guess the way that you're looking at that right now, I guess that looks more like west. So other side, east coast of Africa. And it's close to like the Middle East and stuff. It's right on the coast. And it is a beautiful country. And I learned so much by being there. Like, it's just, one, Africa is huge. Like, holy cow, is it massive. There's 52 countries in there, and if Tanzania is any indication, they're not exactly small. Second, there is a huge amount of variety of life there. It is crazy to see, like, the amount of terrain and then the different life forms and organisms that live in each region, and, like, the, just how the plants look and how the animals are and all that stuff as you change from area to area is bananas. It's crazy. And not even that, like the geological formation of the places is so different. Like when we first got there, you have like Mount Kilimanjaro and a bunch of mountains and then a lot of flat plains in between all that. The place that we ended up going to, called Singida, was just hills everywhere. Lots and lots and lots of hills with these crazy huge, like, volcanic rocks from who knows when, just kind of jutting out of the ground. The only explanation that I've been told as to how they got there is that, you know, that used to be volcanic ground. Okay, so the soil was, you know, pretty fertile at one point, and then sand just kind of, like, those rocks went up, the sand kind of fell off of them, and then the rocks were just kind of there. So, it was crazy to see all that stuff too. While I was in Tanzania, I ended up doing two things. I ended up teaching, and I ended up working at, volunteering is more accurate. Volunteering at the orphanage that our organization works with, called the Kitetimo Center. Kitetimo. Yeah. I have a hard time saying words today, apparently. So, yeah. Teaching was all kinds of interesting. Ended up teaching grades like 1 through 12, and that ended up being everything from English and, like, the arts. So I taught a lot of music, you know, recorder or singing or whatever, and anything from that to like grade 12 chemistry and biology and all that stuff. Like I taught lessons on chemical and physical weathering. I taught lessons on like infections and diseases, which, let's be honest, considering the circumstances, it's important to know how those work. Like it's not as controlled as it is here necessarily. Their immune systems are better off for it, but all things considered, you know, AIDS still very much an issue in Africa, and knowing how to treat wounds and cuts and everything, and knowing how bacteria and infections spread, what they can do to you and all that stuff, kind of important. So teaching that lesson was interesting, if a little, you know, somber and depressing. Anyway, so there's a lot of teaching, and then I also volunteered at the Kitetimo Center, and that's where I got to do the bulk of my harder work. I felt like the teaching part was very intellectually challenging, and I had to teach in a bunch of different ways across a language barrier that was about a mile thick. They all spoke, you know, Swahili, and they didn't understand a lot of English. Like the grade 12 chemistry class, even though form 1 through 4, so that's effectively grades like 9 through 12, give or take. Even though they're supposed to be taught in English and they're supposed to understand it all, they don't. They've got a very firm grasp of Swahili, and their English is pretty okay, but my grade 12 chemistry class didn't know what dirt meant. They didn't know what soil meant. So, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. While I was working at the Kitetimo Center, that's when I got to do a lot of the physical work, and the team that we had was really just was amazing. We had one group of people ended up being the nutrition team, so they took care of the food and fed the kids 3 times a day effectively. and made sure that they got all 4 food groups and fruits, the veggies, the meat, the whole shebang. So to make sure that these kids actually had something to eat, because these kids were like, they weren't like emaciated things that you see on like not National Geographic, but those ads where it's like, donate $1 a day to save this kid, and it's like this tiny little thing, which is a really dehumanizing portrayal of what African people as a continent are like. Like Tanzania, it's one of the better off countries on the entire continent. People don't always look like that. Like actually, the vast majority of them look fairly normal. These kids were underfed. Like if they gave you a hug and you hugged them back, like you could feel bone. But like they look like regular kids. Like anyway, it was good to be able to give them like food. So the nutrition team, fantastic. They're stellar. We had the health and safety team that ended up like disinfecting all of the dorms, the bathrooms, the common areas, and teaching the kids how to clean them, how to disinfect them in the future, that kind of stuff. And they did an excellent job as well with replacing mosquito nets, because mosquitoes and malaria are a problem, and getting brand new mattresses, so that way the kids could avoid bed bugs in the future and do their best to do that. They also fumigated the area, so it was, granted, like we're not fumigators or anything, so we'll see how the quality of that ends up being, but it was really cool to kind of just do that and to try to do our best to make to clean the area and to make it as healthy as possible. So that team did an excellent job. We had the construction team, which ended up rebuilding and fixing up, or at least hiring the carpenters necessary to fix up a chicken coop, fix up a cow pen, extend the garden, plant the extended garden, fix the eaves troughs, fix some doors, build some, just building stuff everywhere. And one of the side projects that they ended up doing just for fun was putting a basketball net closer to the girls' dorms. So now the girls were super excited. There's about, 18, a little bit less. I don't remember the exact number anymore. I'm a terrible person. But a good number of them, and they loved playing basketball. And you know what? That was a very empowering thing to see, because it's like, okay, great. It's a country where they have very conservative kind of social values. So you've got men, you've got women, and they have different roles. Like they don't do the same things. And to have the women at the center, the girls at the center playing basketball, just doing something that they enjoyed doing that was a little outside of what they were used to, was all kinds of cool. Like it was all kinds of awesome to see that. And finally, there was the education team, which I was a part of. We ended up setting up a schedule so that we can mentor people, and we tried to take care of more of the school needs. So we bought textbooks, we bought them new school uniforms, because they are based off of the British colonial system, so they have school uniforms. It doesn't matter whether you're at a government school or at a private school, you've got your sweater, your shirt, your trousers, your belt, your shoes, and you're expected to have all of that on every single day that you're there. So we got these kids brand new ones because they had holes, they were missing, they were like stitched up 4 times in the same spot. Their shoes had like their toes sticking out because they were grown too old and their feet had gone through, or the shoes were old, or a combination of both. So yeah, it was that was pretty cray-cray. On top of that, we did a bunch of extra stuff as well. We ended up shipping them a couple of, we got each of them a jersey. Since they play a lot of soccer over there, it was kind of cool to have a soccer jersey for their center. It was when they understood what was happening, it's like, okay, so we're gonna give you a jersey in English. Didn't make sense. And then when one of the older kids translated for all the younger kids, and there are a large chunk of younger kids, the kids just were like, what? They were so happy. It was awesome. And then I personally ended up doing a little bit just music stuff on the side, because we gave them a bunch of recorders, so I ended up teaching a couple of the kids there. And there's this one great moment where I taught one of the kids called Mohammed. I ended up teaching him how to play the Shire theme, do 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 do, from the Lord of the Rings and stuff. I taught him that. He was unbelievably when he got it, he was so happy. He literally just ran around the area just super happy about it, and then just ran up and gave me a hug. I was completely unprepared for that. So Yeah, that was cool. I guess that kind of reinforced the fact that I don't really necessarily suck at the path that I've chosen to undertake so far. So, yeah, it was a crazy awesome experience. It was really hard to leave it behind, but it's one of those things where, you know, if you want to keep your balance, if you want to continue to be, to be able to help people and do all the other stuff, you have to keep moving forward. So I've moved forward. I'm not forgetting those kids. I'm going to go back. That's practically a fact. I'm going to go back at some point. And I'm hoping next year. Like, this will probably happen again next year. But for now, move forward, do what I can here, focus on me, get my stuff done, so that way I can actually do other stuff later. Anyway, that was a little tough. Right now I'm back in Windsor, and I'm doing my last 2 weeks of practicum. I already finished the Monday and Tuesday. There's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then 2 more days after that, and then that's it. That's my teaching degree, the whole thing. Just have to pay for the business, and then I get to graduate with the same kind of credentials that Bill Nye's got, except for all the prestige, the fame, the cool show, the awesome reputation, and all the rest of it. So, anyway, I'll have my BA in music and my Bachelor's of Education. Now, the only thing that there's a couple of things I want to do. Like, I'd obviously want to do like a full-on Bachelor's of Music. That's the thing I want to upgrade my degree into. That'd be great. I want to get my philosophy minor. I'd like to get my master's. Depending on things, maybe a doctorate. Become Dr. Wolf. I don't know. Be able to prescribe everybody one heaping dose of kick-ass. Anyway, all things considered, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and I'm super glad to be back. But that's, in a nutshell, kind of what I've done. On a side note, I also held a pretty large party. Ended up being pretty good. I emceed it, and people really liked what I had to say, so that was good. My housemates have all moved out. I have, one housemate that's stuck around, and then another housemate that's moved in, and I'll be out of here at the end of May, so I don't have to deal with that for too long, but, you know, the new guy's really, really awesome. Like, he cleaned off the counter and all that stuff. Like, I wish... It's great. I'm so happy. Anyway... that is all for now. Now you're all caught up. That took only 12 minutes and 22 seconds. So thank you everybody so much for listening. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to, just talk with you guys for a little bit again. It's been a long time. But it is good, really good to be back. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next vlog. You guys take it easy. And yeah.